You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Glee After Show.
Love is all you need.
Getting a little
I told you you're a singer.
Aww. Amazing. All right, so we're already singing for you. It's the season premiere. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another Glee after show for you. Of course, this is season 5 of Glee, episode 1, entitled Love, 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 and it's the first of 2 Beatles episodes for you all, which we're super excited about. We've been talking about it all night. This is very exciting.
All summer, really.
All summer. I think they announced this, the middle of summer type time that they were going to do this. And I feel like for all the tribute episodes we've had, this was a really fun one. A great way to start off the season.
It was. I think it was really strong, actually, and which is something that you haven't heard me say for the past season or so.
I know. I'm really excited to have this fresh start for Glee in a lot of ways.
I like this, how they're opening the season with 2 episodes with Beatles, because you can't go wrong with Beatles. Beatles are so iconic, and especially bring them back nowadays, it makes it even more amazing.
Well, we got so excited that we also forgot to introduce ourselves.
Right, it's the start of a new season. I feel like it's important.
Yeah, so if you don't know us, I'm Stephanie Wenger.
Hi everyone, I'm Marisa Serafini.
Hi, I'm Roxy Striar.
And Sarah Mendoza will be back with us next week, of course.
Yep, the full panel.
We miss her, our optimistic munchkin over there.
I know. I feel like I'm missing our optimist on this side of the table here, but I'll have to hold up my end and be like, it's okay, guys. It's all going to work out in the end.
Yeah.
But this was a fun one with Artie and Kitty being this new couple. I don't know how I feel about it yet. In all honesty, you're going to have to tweet me because we have this kind of flirtation happen at the beginning of the episode that we hadn't seen at all in season 4.
Yeah, I think I said this when we were watching because I just couldn't hold it in any longer, but I think that what they're doing right now is because, obviously, of the loss of Finn, there's this void that needs to be filled. There's no more Finn and Rachel, so there needs to be the it couple. And yes, Blaine and Kurt are a couple that people like and they get behind, but it's different. They've always been there kind of in the background, and now I think they need their leading male and female couple, and they don't have it. So I think we're going to see a lot of that this season, them trying out different pieces together, so hopefully we can grab onto one and
root for it.
And stay hold, yeah.
Yeah, and we saw near the end of last season where Kitty did go up to Artie's mom and convince her to help Artie make a decision to go to Brooklyn. And we saw that relationship, that episode felt more genuine. And I think because of that relationship, it was cute when that happened. And I think now they're just, like you said earlier while we were watching it, we're testing the waters with this relationship.
Right. See, to me, they felt friendship 110%. I was surprised to see it go this way. I agree with Roxy 110% again that it could be that they are kind of a mix and match couple situation for the beginning of this season to see who fans like and what kind of sticks with people.
Right.
And I hope that this couple does somehow make me love them in a way. I just don't feel anything towards them. It was more surprise than anything else at this point.
Right, absolutely. And you know what I didn't like at first, and I'm so glad they're going a different direction than I thought, but we've seen this thing where somebody wants to hide being with Artie or is ashamed that he's in a wheelchair. We've covered that. You know, Glee does a really good job of covering a lot of things, but the problem is they cover so many things that by season 5, it's like, what can we talk about? So we've already seen that, and now we see Kitty is ashamed or wants to hide their relationship. So I'm so glad that that didn't play out throughout the entire season, and there's only one episode where she's refusing to declare him as her boyfriend. Now they're out in the open, and there doesn't have to be any more of that, like, we've been there, done that, seen that kind of thing.
And it was a really sweet declaration.
Yes, it was.
Wow, it's been a long day.
Long week, long hiatus.
Yeah, but very sweet when she finally did declare her love for him. It was like that big moment that I think in high school, like high school boys, high school girls always want that, like, you know, in the movie kind of moment, and that's what it felt like to me.
Absolutely.
See, I was questioning this relationship, new budding relationship, throughout the whole episode, because the first thing you see when they're flirting is when she's sitting on Artie's lap down the hallways, and everyone can literally see her, and then she's proclaiming that, I want to keep this a secret. I don't want anyone to know. Well, don't sit on people's lap in the hallways when everyone's going to see you.
Wait, I feel like it's weird that they get away with that, because if I had a boyfriend in high school and I just was sitting on his lap, I feel like somebody would say something. But because Artie's in a wheelchair, he's allowed to wheel her to class. I don't know how much that would fly.
I feel like my school was very no PDA accepted.
Exactly.
And they're very PDA happy at McKinley, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
they like their PDA quite a bit. I hope they don't play mix and match the entire season, though. I want them, like, if Artie and Kitty are going to be a couple, I hope that they kind of stay a couple and that it doesn't become this, let's mix and match everyone at McKinley. We've seen a lot of couples already. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, I agree, because last season, season 4, we saw a lot of mix and matching with relationship, and it was a lot of, are they going to stay together? Are they not? And I think this season, people, if you're going to pick one person, stick with them throughout the whole season.
It's a little incestual over at McKinley. You know how when you have an ex-boyfriend and you expect all of your girlfriends or your best girlfriends or the people in your club not to date him, even if you're exes? That doesn't happen at McKinley. People just are happy for each other or whatnot. So I feel like I agree with you. I don't really want to see too many more mix and matches, but unfortunately, I think it's going to happen. And here's why. We have 3 episodes, and then we have the hiatus. We have not written other episodes yet. To the best of our knowledge, they have not figured out what's going to happen after the hiatus or even how long the hiatus is going to be. So I have a feeling a lot is going to depend on these 3 episodes and the audience and how we interpret it and what we say about it. So I think it's really important that if you like it, that you write it all over social media, tweet it at them, tweet it at us, we'll retweet it, whatever it is, let them know. And if you don't, then I think that they'll kill the storyline.
I couldn't agree more. We also kind of saw a hint of something that could be another new couple, which was Sam and Tina. Tina, we're talking about the songs in a little bit here. Obviously, it's a Beatles episode, lots of songs to talk about.
Lots of songs to talk about.
Lots of songs to talk about. But Tina accepts kind of, she gets the option of choosing, if you saw the episode, I'm sure you did, all of these, between all the guys in Glee Club, and she chooses Sam to go to prom with her, and prom is next week's episode. And is that going to be a new couple? There's so many questions. I think that this episode was filled with, mainly because of that hiatus and the direction the show is going, we don't know yet.
Right. This did open up a lot of doors. One complaint of mine of the episode is, though, however, maybe too many doors and almost like everything seemed like a separate music video. You know, the through line wasn't so much there. Even though we pick up exactly where we leave off, I felt like I was missing something, kind of. And it felt like different short segment music videos as opposed to a big story. A lot of that is because we're in 2 different locations. A lot of that is because we're starting midway through the year, which we've never done before. And a lot of that is because, of course, we're missing one of the main characters of the show.
Yeah, and a lot of standalone numbers. But I think that's what they're bringing back, that spontaneity that we all loved with Glee in the first few seasons.
Absolutely.
And I think that can also reflect where the direction is going, because we can choose any couple to get together.
And I feel like it really is our choice at this point.
It's kind of like
go us.
Vote for your favorite person.
I was going to say, you're really putting a lot of power in your fan base, and that's what Glee's been all about for 4 years now. So to start season 5 that way is a very interesting and cool choice in a lot of ways.
I think they're at the point where they can rely on the fans, and they can listen to the fans' opinions, be like, okay, this is how Glee works. If the fans are happy, then we're happy.
You know what I almost wish? I almost wish that this was like American Idol. So they would have a number on the bottom of the screen. If you like this couple, call da-da-da-da-da. If you like this couple.
Did you ever read those books?
Oh, yeah, pick your own ending. Oh, yeah. I was a big fan, clearly.
Yes, very familiar with those books. I feel like that's a little bit of what season 5 is going to be.
Let's hope.
Let's hope. I hope that it ends up being something that's satisfying, especially by the time the series ends, that it's satisfying for fans. There's been a lot of characters leaving and new characters coming in, but I hope that in the end it's something satisfying.
Who would you guys like to see together? Out of everybody, except for Blaine and Kurt, because we know that they're already together, is there a couple that you're like, I really think that these people could work?
I think it'll be really interesting to see Marley
and Ryder.
And Ryder together.
Oh, no, and Jake.
That's, yeah.
Or and Ryder.
Yeah, like
depending on how that goes.
I was gonna say, like, there's a little bit still of that love triangle there. I think that that's something that we didn't see a lot of tonight. That I hope that they continue, because that was an interesting storyline. And people always declare like the new Finn and Rachel, and I don't think there could be a new Finn and Rachel at this point.
Right.
That's gonna be shrined in what have you. But I hope that they can come up with something that's like, you know, that kind of the couple that you all root for.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
You think so too?
Yeah, totally.
I feel like Tina is too ingrained in the circle to be the new it couple.
Yeah.
And I feel differently about Kitty. Maybe she could be the new
we have
couple with Artie.
A little bit of news and gossip about Kitty and how her character is going to play out this season. So
I'm so excited.
So maybe we'll like her a little more.
Yeah. I kind of liked, sorry to go back to Tina, that like how she had a moment. She spoke up for Artie.
Yeah, it was
like, that was a little bit out of character, but it was welcoming to see that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I was also excited to see Rachel. Last season, we saw her so focused on the guys in her life and who was exiting, who was cheating on her, who was whatever was going on with Rachel and the guys. That seemed to be a large focus. And it was nice to see her come out this season and be focused on auditioning and do a really nice job. I thought her audition was great. Like,
you mean just the small segment where she was the speaking,
two lines.
the dialogue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's very talented, and I think it was great too. And I think that no matter how awesome you are, audition rooms, they're kind of like that, you know? They're never like, oh my God, it was amazing. They try to be as cold as possible because you never know how it's going to go. And she really killed her little diner scene.
That's what I was going to say, kind of her pseudo audition, like in that she made a bold move to like go out and sing like that in front of.
Although I have a little bit of a prediction about that I can get to later.
Yes, I'm excited to hear your prediction.
In fact, let me write it down so I don't forget.
But I liked the quick audition that she had because it gave her a cold slap of reality, because this is Broadway. This is what you're entering. This is what it's going to be like.
Well, it reminds me, like, a friend of mine played college football, and then he was doing NFL stuff, and he... Like
fancy.
Like no, and I'm just saying
your friend.
No, and I'm just saying that like it's like the business side. Like college is one level, and when you get to like NFL or Broadway, there's a business to it. It's not fun and games anymore. It's who's the best, who can we make money off of. They're really gonna make those choices based on not things of like, oh, we see your potential. Like it's much different.
It's show business.
It's the politics and show business.
Absolutely.
Sorry to throw an NFL reference in a Glee show, but it felt right.
Sense.
That's okay. We had some football at McKinley. We know what's up.
Yeah, exactly. But Rachel and Santana do take jobs as waitresses. We should go back to that at the diner. And I think that that's a really fun storyline that I wasn't anticipating.
How adorable were those little outfits? I was just like, well, first of all, could the two of them have more rockin' bods? I was like, just sitting there, oh, so jealous.
Like, only those two could pull it off.
I know. Right. I thought the outfit was adorable. On me, I would be like, ew, I hate it. On them, they look like absolute all-stars. Second of all, don't you wish you could go to a restaurant and all of a sudden your waitress would just break into song? Because I would eat there every day.
Yeah, I've heard of this in other areas of the country, and so maybe if it's in your area, like, you can tweet us and tell us, because we really want to go.
Invite us, and then we will come hang out. Literally. Or we should just open one ourselves, and Marisa should sing, because she's really effing good.
I mean, that sounds like...
and dance, because you can dance too. I know you can.
Twerk.
But
Not so much
when I
twerk,
sing,
but
it's
thank
just
you,
kind of
best
painful. So what can I do at the restaurant?
You can run the whole
I can
place.
cook.
You can be the
I
manager.
can cook.
I'll be a waitress.
You'll be a waitress.
As we digress.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I mean, we're making a whole business plan here. But if you have any thoughts, opinions that you want to share with us for season 5, what you're thinking, predictions, we want to hear them all because, as we said, we think the show can literally go anywhere at this point. So hit us up on iTunes, rate and comment. We love reading all of that. And you can also go on iTunes and go on and buy Maria Menounos' Serial Buddies. It's such a fun movie. I've seen it a couple times now, and it's just like laugh out loud hilarious.
Great
But what's
movie.
amazing is that you can get it on iTunes, you can rent it, you can buy it there, but you can also buy it in stores now, which is freaking fantastic. And when you do buy it, take a picture of yourself, tweet it at Maria, tweet it at us, let us know that you're watching, because it's hysterical.
It's a great movie filled with great people. Kathy Lee Gifford, Ari Lang,
Beth Bears is in it from Two Broke Girls.
Maria
So
herself,
fun. Yeah.
Christopher Lloyd. Too many great people in it, so go watch it. Go buy it.
And
go watch
Henry
it.
Winkler as the narrator.
Yes.
I mean,
the funds. Come
amazing. So we covered Tina.
Hey.
So we covered Tina a little.
Anyway.
Yes, we covered Tina a little bit earlier in our show, but she it's interesting because she's now the one who's standing up for everyone, and we wanted this all along. I feel like we mentioned it a lot over the course of the last 4 seasons, that she never stood up for herself and never stood up for other people, was always kind of in the background. And so I'm curious to see if that continues or if that was just something that she felt like she needed to do for Artie.
I like that Tina spoke up for Artie, and I think because she is still technically a senior, she's finally stepping into that role and being that senior leader, the female leader that you can look up to for the undergraduates. And I think because that Rachel and they're not at McKinley anymore, she has to be it.
I mean, luckily it worked out, and Kitty was like, yes, Artie, I want to be with you. But imagine how many other ways that possibly could have gone, where Tina was stepping her nose into something that was not any of her business. Is that an expression, stepping her nose? I don't think you can step your nose. I might have made that up. But you guys know what I mean.
Into the business.
Yeah.
Again, long week. So, she was getting involved in a place that she didn't necessarily need to be involved. That being said, I think that when your friend is being treated poorly, it's important to say something, but not necessarily say something to an entire room full of people. Maybe to approach Kitty about it. It did work out, so it was fine. But I don't know. It's tricky when you become that person that says something about everything, then you're very much so that person. I did like the whole prom bit. I thought that was really cute. And I like how all 4 of them or 3 of the 4 were willing to go with her.
Yeah.
And the fact that Blaine is really such a great friend to her. I love that friendship, and I really think he's looking out for her. And that they notice that she's down. I thought that was really cute.
I completely agree with you. I hope for, I feel like that was a scenario that worked in Glee world.
Yeah.
That, it would never work in high school world. That would travel all around the it would turn out badly for Tina. It would not end well for anyone involved in that scenario. But I was glad that it worked out. I feel like, it's interesting to see that, will she continue to be that person? I hope she just takes more lead in the Glee Club. I hope she becomes a leader, more or less, not stepping in everyone's business and becoming the town gossip or the school gossip.
I think she had the good intentions, and I feel when the other people who usually speak up, that kind of is more self-involved. It was for themselves. They're like, oh, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. But Tina's speaking up for someone else, not for herself. So I think the way she did it was actually pretty good and admirable.
Do you guys think, though, that vocally she is strong enough to be the leader of the Glee Club? Because as much as...
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I get worried because...
But they don't give her all the lead roles.
That's
they give
true.
it back to Marley.
And I do think that she's a strong vocalist, but I feel like there's got to be a reason more other than storyline that she's never been Glee's person. So I get nervous. Maybe the actress, and I don't know this at all, this is just speculation, like, seriously, I have no idea. But maybe she isn't okay with singing 3 songs an episode, you know? Maybe she would tire out, wear out something.
I find that hard to believe only because she was on Broadway. I mean, she did it all the time.
So then what do you think it is?
I think vocally she's there. She can lead. But I think maybe acting-wise and character-wise, she's not strong enough to be that anchor for everyone.
Just story-wise.
I was going to say, I think her character, at least for the past 4 seasons, she's been this shy character, and that's been her role in the Glee Club.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see, does she step out, or does she become, you know, what is it that they're trying to accomplish this season with her? I think that in terms of leads in the Glee Club, I don't know who the girl is going to be, but I feel like Blaine is the top choice at this point, at least judging on this episode for this year for the guys.
But, like, we've seen that. I would love to see Ryder step up or something like that, you know?
Also, I love thinking way back, but Sam with Quinn, Diana Agron's character, that was such a fun combination.
So well, Sam and Tina, maybe that's the new singing power duo.
Yeah.
Or just Blaine and Tina. They don't have to be together, but they could like knock all their songs out of the park.
It's very true.
I like our own mix and match game, guys. I know. We just played a major game of mix and match.
We should get a board and just like move pieces around.
Exactly. I feel like we could totally do that and have it like a big magnetic board.
Oh yeah.
Next week.
Yes, next week. So should we move on to, I guess, the couple of the moment here, which is of course Blaine and Kurt. I like how you're like, everyone's like, woo, okay. So we saw them kind of decide to be together in a major way tonight. It was interesting because at the beginning of the episode, you have this, you know, Kurt still questioning whether Blaine can be faithful to him. Yeah. And you knew that, at least I wrote before it even happened, I was like, they're getting back together. I have all the faith in the world in this couple.
I questioned this couple, actually, because the last few episodes, you always see Blaine is full on into this relationship, and then you always see Kurt questioning it, and I don't know if they were going to go the same route with Kurt still questioning it. We saw that a little bit, but I'm actually honestly surprised Kurt said yes.
Really?
Well, the look on his face, I mean, I have to give it to him,
Chris.
to Chris Colfer.
I'm like, what is she about to say? I'm waiting on you.
I was like, I was going a different way, but to Chris Colfer, for just that look on his face was just like, oh no, this is going to be the most tragic moment. And I knew that Glee, I felt like this was an episode they wanted to have a happy ending in, so I'm happy that they ended up together.
This is why I thought the dynamic of the two of them this episode was so brilliant. Yeah. So when we see them and we know that they're about to start getting back together as boyfriend and boyfriend, they are having a picnic at McKinley. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems like Blaine is about to break into song as he's prepared something, but instead, Kurt is like, I've prepared something for you. Mm-hmm. So he was the one, kind of the leader of the relationship, so you have it. Later on, the proposal obviously comes from Blaine. So I feel like this is a true power duo, and I don't feel like one of them always has the upper hand.
I was just about to say, for the first time in a long time, we saw even footing between them. Mm-hmm. It was not this thing of like, Blaine loves him more, or Kurt loves Blaine more. Like,
exactly.
It was absolutely just this like, we're a couple and we're on the same page. And I hope that that stays the same because obviously we saw Kurt talking to Bert. He has questions about whether this is the right call. And I hope it doesn't all fall apart when he goes back to New York.
Yeah, and I like how they're even because even with the Rachel-Finn relationship, it always seemed like Rachel had the upper hand in that. And so I think it's nice to have a relationship where two people are equal.
I did think it was a little, again, I really did enjoy this episode, but I did think it had some flaws. Yeah. I did think it was a little odd, the conversation that Bert had with Kurt, especially because when Bert had been approached in the past, it seemed like he wasn't all for them getting married so young. Mm-hmm. And for him to tell the story about the mom saying, like, I wish I had done it sooner, I could tell that they were going to end up together by that because Glee was trying to, like, rationalize why it was good and going to work, you know? as opposed to young marriage that wouldn't work. So I felt like the conversation was good, and it did prepare me for the final answer, but it did seem a little strange and a little out of place coming from Bert.
I also have to say that it feels a little strange to have another couple in high school be, I guess Finn and Rachel were technically out of high school. It's hard to, I guess they were engaged when they got, or they were in high school when they got engaged, but there's kind of two very young couples going for the path of marriage. I feel like that's unlikely.
I think that we come from big cities and or the coast, you know, and that me, sorry, I can only speak for myself, but there weren't many couples from my high school that were engaged, and the ones that were, maybe one of them lasted, you know?
That's what I was about to say too.
But I do think that it's a little more common in different places for that to happen. I think, I don't know.
No, like I come from the Midwest, and a lot of young people get married. And a lot of young people get divorced.
So you think that that's not, for being in a school in Ohio, that's realistic?
I do think that's realistic. Ohio is Midwest. I'm from the Midwest.
Yeah.
That is a common thing in that area. And I'm not saying everyone does it, but it is more common than it is on the coast and metropolitan cities.
I'm in California. Yeah.
I know what you mean. It's something I can't really relate to. Like, I didn't have a crap ton of friends that were madly in love, getting married, moving away to get whatever it was. But I do think somewhere in the Midwest, I do think.
I believe it.
No, I mean,
I
it's
think
an interesting.
Going back to Bert being the one talking about this conversation, trying to rationalize everything, I think it just goes to show that Bert made a choice to marry someone at a young age, and that turned out great for him. So maybe,
it can work.
Yeah, it was to show that if you make a choice at a young age, it can work. It can work out.
I mean, I know people who are still with their high school sweethearts, and it works. It's just, I guess it's all about the couple at the end of the day. But
all relationships, sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. I mean, you could get married when you're 40 and it could not work out, or you could get married when you're 18 and it could not work out, or it could, you know? So I think that sometimes it's more likely than others, and the longer you're with somebody, the more sure you can be.
Absolutely. But we can go on and on about all this relationship drama. I feel like we could have a love line show here going on, but maybe we should jump into some Beatles songs. They started out the night with Yesterday, which Rachel sang. And
go for it.
I liked it. I know you. I can tell you're not a fan, but it was interesting because we had Carrie Underwood at the Emmys this past week sing that, and I felt like I liked Rachel's version. I also liked Carrie's version, but it's
just a great song.
Yeah, it's a great song, and I thought she really did make it her own, which is a difficult thing with Beatles. I think sometimes when you try to do something a little different with it, it takes away from that iconic sound that the Beatles have. And I thought she did a great job making it her own.
I like the song. It's obviously a great Beatles song. I didn't like it as the very first number to kick off this season. It was not up and big and in your face like Glee usually is to start the season, and it just kind of maybe goes to show maybe this is the tone for the season. There is going to be a lot of hardship and disappointment, but overall it's still going to hopefully work out at the end.
Right. I absolutely agree with what you just said, and my other problem with it was, I think that Lea Michele is not right to sing Beatles songs. She is such a powerhouse vocalist that it almost seems like she has to hold herself back all of the time. And the song is so beautiful and simple. And it's not that I think she went over the top with it, because she really did, but I could just tell there's some times where she wants to go and she can't. And like you're saying, it was just, the song was, as the start of a season, not big enough, not loud enough, not crazy enough.
And you could tell she wanted to belt out some
Right, that's
parts
what I'm saying.
I understand that. I just think that if you're doing a Beatles episode, that's one of their most iconic, so it felt like an okay place to start. But I do understand that you wanted that Glee moment, and we had a few of them tonight.
We did, definitely.
We did. Yeah.
We could have done some rearranging, I think, of songs.
Definitely. I think there could have been different numbers to start off the season.
They definitely went with the literal meanings on a lot of these songs. That, like, there was a moment where, we'll get to it, but just very clearly it was like, oh, the character's doing this. And then you know, it was a song. I'm trying to think back.
I know what you're talking about, but the very next song.
Help is the one that I.
How about the very next song when they do "Drive My Car" and they're in the bumper cars?
Yes, that was the most random but fun number. Kind of. I was just like, oh. Why are we at an amusement? Like, it felt like...
How did we get to a carnival?
Yes, when did that happen?
Already asked Kitty, and of course, everyone else was there.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and just goes to show, if you don't want people to know that you're dating, don't sit next to each other, don't flirt out in public.
Yeah.
Especially carnival when everyone's there and can see you.
Right, but at least this song, like, had the episode started on this song, I would have totally bought it, you know? Like, yep, here we are. This was a high moment for me, and I think it was fun, and it was everything Glee should be, and there was a lot of different things, but again, it plays into the thing I was talking about. It seemed like a whole bunch of music videos posted next to each other.
Yeah.
I could have seen this as a music video that had nothing to do with the rest of the episode.
It felt like a music video you would see on TRL, like, and this is number 2 on, I'm probably dating myself with TRL. Whatever.
No, I'm with you.
We get it.
But that being said, yeah, I really thought it was a cute number. I hope that the Glee cast got to enjoy being at all those rides, like after they finished filming this, that they were able to like have a little fun, because I feel like this season's probably pretty rough on them. So I hope they got to have a little bit of a fun night while they were filming that. Maybe they just wanted to go home and sleep. That's very possible too. But and then we had Gotta Get You Into My Life, which is another one that Kurt and Blaine sang together. Blaine had a lot of numbers tonight.
He did.
I know. Okay, the thing that got me with this number, Kurt, we obviously start the number with Kurt saying, oh, I had this arranged.
Yeah.
But it was really Blaine singing throughout this whole season, this whole number, and it felt like Blaine's number, not Kurt's.
I have to say that I think I mentioned it when we were watching the show, that Darren Criss, I felt like brought it in this episode. Like, he was there and really wanted to do, and I mean, everyone did, obviously, the best that they could, but I felt like he had a lot of responsibility on his shoulders, and he did a great job handling that.
I absolutely agree, and I think that there's no way we could possibly know the emotional damage that they're facing being on the set. Yeah. And I just wanted to take a break for a second just to say, for people who are listening to this or watching this right now thinking, how is it possible that they are not talking about Corey Monteith and what happened and what big news, just so you guys know, we did film a tribute about him, which was mid-season, so maybe some of you guys missed it because it wasn't during our regular hours, but you can catch that.
Yeah.
And that, of course, we need to dedicate our time now to the episode, but I just do think it's important that you guys know we did honor his memory, and we currently still are every single day. So
yeah, we're not ignoring that it happened. We have talked greatly about it, and if you have any comments about that, of course we want to hear those as well. And we, you know, are still thinking of the Glee cast.
Right. So I think that something that probably not only we're underestimating, but everybody might be underestimating is how incredibly difficult it is to get back on set and film. So I think the people that did really bring it, it even speaks more to them and their true talent as actors, how they can kind of compartmentalize their lives from their characters' lives. And like you said, I think Darren Criss did the most amazing job in this episode tonight.
Yeah, and the show must go on. And to go back to the number, like this number out in the food court was very reminiscent of the very first Kurt and Blaine number that we got in season 4, where Blaine is singing to Kurt to convince him to go to school. Yeah. And this is again, Blaine's asking like, where is Kurt in life, and going back to school and all that. Right. It's very reminiscent of the first number.
And I couldn't agree more with you on that. But Artie and Kitty had a couple numbers. They were another one they did a couple duets, and You've Gotta Hide Your Love Away, another literal song. Yeah. And this was still when they were hiding that relationship.
What was the deal with the stars on the ceiling? And I was like, how'd you get those there? It was cute, though. At least it was endearing.
I actually thought that was, of the two duets, the one I preferred tonight. And I don't know why. I just thought that it was kind of a sweet fit for the episode, and I liked it. The second one wasn't as thrilling to me for some reason.
I thought this number was okay because I'm still on the fence with Kitty and Artie. It was like, I still think the relationship is getting a little forced right now.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree, and I don't completely trust her. So
exactly.
And I'm like, don't break my poor little Artie's heart.
Right. Of course. And then we had Blaine with New Directions, which was one of the bigger numbers of the night, singing Help. I liked it, and I can tell that Roxy is going to go.
I love it. I love that. Oh. I love our opinions tonight being like.
No, I really enjoyed it. Like, I just thought again, Darren Criss, I love his voice. Couldn't get enough of it. Thought it was stronger than ever tonight.
This to me, as a song that I'm listening on to iTunes, great.
Yeah.
So I thought vocally it was strong. Talking about the music video of all songs, where did this they were just like wanting to use the song Help and force this in so hard. And from the second we were in the room and he walked in and was like, I need everybody's help, we were all like, yeah, we know what's coming. I don't know. I just felt like them running down the hallways being like, help. Like, it seemed like a weird commercial for maybe a megaphone or something. I don't even know what to say about it. There's no number tonight that I was like, wow, I hated that. So I didn't feel that way, but I just felt like of all the numbers, this was very forced.
Oh, it definitely was. It was just kind of out of there. But I do have to give it to the Glee producers that all these numbers in this episode were all spontaneous.
Yeah.
And we've been missing that for the last whole season of season 4.
Absolutely.
So, like, all these were literally goes back to the first earlier seasons where they literally just broke out and sang out of emotion.
Right, as opposed to performing on stage. And we complained that there weren't enough songs, and this episode brought it in terms of numbers of songs. So I'm glad that they're listening to us.
Yeah, and for me, for some reason, I just thought it was cute. Like, I understand totally that it could be like too much of a production, which kind of is what you're saying with the running down the hallways. But for me, it worked. So I'm glad. Differences of opinion at the table, always fun. Woo!
And sorry.
I don't think we're gonna have a huge difference of opinion on this one, though. Literally, what's going on at our table? But hard
Help. We help. I need somebody.
Yeah. Hard Day's Night, such an iconic, amazing Beatles song.
Yeah,
and I know we talked about that Rachel isn't always the perfect fit to sing a Beatles song, but this was so much fun in the diner.
No, the reason this worked better for Rachel was at least this was a production. She could dance, she could move. She was with Santana, who's legitimately my favorite.
Yeah.
Honestly, this totally worked for me. If Rachel's going to be doing Beatles, she's got to do Beatles. You know, she can't just be walking, like, solemnly singing. She needs to be dancing on the table, which she was. So this worked. And the whole jukebox thing, this one worked.
It was awesome. They were all already dressed for the part. It was one of those, like, rolling diners kind of thing. That
I want that outfit for home.
Kind of expect, like, a throwback to the 50s, you know? And that old 5 and dime kind of number. But I just got to point out, I noticed the Romaine brothers, the twin brothers, dancing in this number, and actually shout out to Donald Romaine, who is the AfterBuzz host here. I saw him in the background dancing.
And he was in here tonight.
Yes,
I know.
he was just here.
I wanted to pull him in and be like, so how was the number?
Exactly.
We'll ask him next time. We'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get him in here. And then we kind of failed to mention at the beginning of the episode, they did those flashes of the iconic black and white Beatles like portraits, I guess you could call it. I'm not sure what you would call it. And Roxy seems unimpressed.
It just, huh? Like, I get it. And obviously, I mean, to say you're not a Beatles fan is like to admit that I don't even know.
It's like to say you don't like music.
Right, exactly. Like, everybody loves the Beatles, and I love the Beatles. And so I understood the reference. It just, to me, was like, oh, like it seemed like there was credits in there. I almost wanted to make them have opening credits then of everybody, but it was just, it was a little weird.
I think maybe it was the timing, because it was like right off the bat. Maybe if it was maybe in the second episode where we've already established that it's the Beatles.
Yeah,
right.
It was like as he was writing Beatles on the board, it just felt weird to me.
Yeah.
For a moment.
Right.
I thought also it would have been more fun. You know, when the Beatles cross the street.
Yes.
Like
Abbey.
having having like the Glee Club cross the street. That would be amazing. Like that was
That'd be awesome.
We still have a second episode of it, so maybe.
I hope
we'll
so.
see that.
I think I actually saw possibly a still of that.
I thought that
I saw a promo pic of that.
Yeah.
The next song, though, I think they did a good job with having a Beatles reference there.
What
I actually can appreciate the Beatles references. Just the black and white photo montage for 13 seconds did not work.
And I saw her standing there. Seemed like a good tribute to the Beatles and everything that they were with the 4 guys. standing, performing.
Right.
Yeah,
on
and the
stage.
girls going crazy, and it being for Tina, it worked.
It was definitely an ode back to their first performance at Ed Sullivan's show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it was definitely just a shout out to that. I found it distracting, the girls cheering when it was just four
I know what you
girls.
mean.
If you had more girls, yeah, I'd get that, but it was just four of them cheering, and they just were just made it distracting.
I had this moment where I wanted like the auditorium doors to open and girls to like race.
Rush in.
Yeah.
Right. I think that tributes, you have to be really careful with tribute episodes because what they really are is a tribute to the band, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel like you really have to honor and respect what those musicians and their music
Completely.
was all
Yes.
about. So I do feel like they were trying as hard as they could to do that. Did they reach its full potential with this song? No, but they did get halfway there. Maybe
And they have another half, so it's
exactly.
Might get
So
there.
hopefully we'll get 100%. But you're right. Something about the Beatles, you know, to have women rushing through, that would have been,
yeah.
you know. But I think also they just wanted to kind of stick to the principal characters to get us back into it and not have too many extras all around.
Right.
Although that theory is completely torn apart when we get to the next number.
I was gonna say it was dancers galore up in a building that took me a minute to identify.
all over the place. Dalton Academy.
Yeah, it was just like, wait, where are we? And then, because I don't think we've seen the outside, the exterior of that building.
It was Hogwarts. Literally, we're at Hogwarts.
We saw it once when that Superman episode where they dressed up and they're
that's
running at
right.
the end with the trophy.
Leave it to the biggest Gleek I know. Oh my God! Thank God we have you on the show.
Right, so it was All You Need Is Love, which is one of my personal favorite Beatles songs, and such, again, a literal meaning in this case with the engagement happening.
I thought that this number was brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, it could be its own separate little piece, but it was really beautiful. Going around and touring the whole thing and having the dancers and it just being so extravagant, it was the perfect way to end the season premiere, in my opinion.
And I loved it because it went full circle with the relationship as well. That's where it started, and that's where hopefully it will continue with this.
I couldn't agree more. I really enjoyed this number. And I was also really happy to see, I know a lot of fans were tweeting us over the summer about, do you think that it's going to be an entire season of downer because of the Corey news? And it was nice to see them come back in this way. We are going to have an episode. Episode 3 is a tribute to him, and that is, of course, going to be such a sad episode.
Right, but that being said, I do think it's a little difficult that everybody was there for this, including Amber Riley and including Lea Michele. You know, everybody was there, and Corey was not, of course. And I wonder how they're going to deal with the fact that, you know, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but from what we've heard, they're dealing with Corey's death pretty head on.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering timeline-wise how they're going to handle all of this.
And even Rachel's first number of the episode, there was, you know, lyrics saying about the relationship being on rocky grounds, like he left me or something like that.
Yeah.
So he chose to leave. So I think they're also just kind of slowly transition him out.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just going to be really hard to see how they do that, but Glee writers are phenomenal at what they do. So
they'll get there.
They'll get there. 100%. So would you want to go into some news and gossip?
I do. I want to hear what's up.
I mean, it's been a minute since we've had news and gossip. So yeah.
Lots have happened.
So Becca Tobin, who of course plays Kitty on the show, talks about that we all say she's not our favorite character on the show because she's proven to not be the most trustworthy person there ever was. But she says that that's all going to change, that she, through this relationship that she has with Artie, is going to become nicer this season. There's a new budding romance, and I think that he's part of the reason she's softening up a bit. And she explained that to Billy Bush at Access Hollywood.
I mean, for them to have any chance as a couple of us liking them, she has to soften up because we would never stand for somebody abusing Artie.
No, Artie's like one of the original people.
Right.
All the Gleeks out there love him.
Oh, definitely. And I think with Kitty that she will soften up because she has to be the nicer person, so Bree can be the new character, Bree, new Cheerio. Maybe she can be the new Biatch.
I think that's so funny
Cheerios.
mentioning Brie.
Yes.
So she says, I'm Brie with 2 E's, and she's Erin with 2 N's. So.
And we should also mention that Erin will be coming in and hanging out with us next week.
Right.
And we're super excited to talk to her and hear all about Glee Season 5. I mean, I can't even imagine so many changes going on this show tonight.
Right, and what we've heard from her is she's coming in as the new absolute bitch, and I think that is very much needed.
And also, kind of her introduction tonight was that.
Yes,
110%.
exactly.
Yeah. And it's nice to see it not come from a blonde with tight back hair, you know?
Yeah.
It was
Right.
from a completely looking different person.
Right. And also, I found it hilarious that when Becca visited Access Hollywood Live, they were asking who the new romance was with, and they thought it would be with Puck, who is Mark Saling's character.
Right.
And I was like, we went a completely different way tonight. Just
Yes,
a little
yes, we
side note.
did.
Yeah. And
Speaking
then,
of which, where is he?
yeah,
was he?
yeah, that's an interesting one too. We're missing quite a few people again tonight, but we'll be all right. Demi Lovato, we saw the preview tonight that she'll be on the show next week, and she's talking about that her character, she doesn't want it to be like a stereotypical gay role and like, look, Demi's kissing someone, or kissing a girl. She says, I don't want people to take from this, oh my God, Demi's kissing a girl. I want people to take from it, this is actually an incredible step in our generation today, where I'm able to play a young lesbian on primetime TV. I'm honored to be able to hopefully inspire people with my character. And I just thought that that was a really nice statement from her. I think that that's what Glee has been all about, is breaking those stereotypes.
Right, absolutely. I mean, like, had this role been given to Miley Cyrus, maybe she'd be obsessed with the girl-on-girl, like, female attention. But I think that this show is about incredible acting and storytelling, and it's important to have somebody in the role who respects the character they're playing.
Yeah, and I'm excited for Demi Lovato because she's an amazing singer too, and her and Santana, they're gonna kill it.
Yeah, and
Oh my God.
I have to
God.
say, it's such a smart move on Fox's part, because Demi, of course, is a judge on X Factor.
Right.
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's a nice crossover for them.
Oh, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know.
They've got the crossover going on quite well. We mentioned Corey throughout tonight, and he was honored at a number of events over the summer. First, Leah Michele gives such a touching speech about him at the Teen Choice Awards. She was accepting her own award and just remembered,
Dedicated it to him.
dedicated it to him, remembered his life, and thanked the fans for their support, which was really very, very sweet.
I think it's always great when somebody is addressing their fans specifically.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an award show where it's the Academy or what, it's your fans.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important.
Yeah, and also Corey was chosen as one of the 5 people that they honored at the Emmys, and Jane Lynch spoke about his memory and who he was, and it was really a really interesting moment. I think Gleeks would appreciate that she mentioned that who he was on the show was who he translated to be in real life. And I know we talked about it quite a bit in our tribute episode, that in all of our experiences, that's who he was, this kind, good-hearted man.
And if you
Yeah.
loved him on the show, you'd love him even more in person. That seemed to be like the message she was
Right.
driving home. And I thought it was crazy, though, how almost stoic she was when she was reading this, because if you let the rush of emotions really come to you, because she was so close to him, then she
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have been able to get through it.
What an amazing professional to be able, I can't even
Right.
imagine being able to hold it together
Absolutely.
like that.
Yeah, and she, when Corey unfortunately passed away, she was one of the first people to speak up about his death too. So it makes it all the more better that she spoke up at the Emmys. And she, I believe herself, has struggled with addiction. So there was a bond in that way as well.
Right, and just speaking of her for 1 second, because we didn't address her character on the show as new principal, and we'll see how that goes and everything.
That's,
Framing Figgins
Yeah.
to
yeah,
get his job.
I mean, she's still evil. Kind of love
And
it.
saying that
Yeah.
everybody has to win nationals or they're cut.
And to switch gears a little bit, we kind of wanted to start an Amber Riley corner, because she's on Dancing with the Stars this season, dancing with Maria's old partner, Derek Hoff.
Which is amazing, so let's get her in the studio and talk to her about it.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you can actually watch one of our AfterBuzz hosts, JC Rubio. He interviews Amber
course,
Riley every week at Dancing with the Stars. So go make sure and check out those videos as well on YouTube.
Yes, and she has done great so far on Dancing with the Stars. She danced the jive last week with Derek. And what's really exciting, I think, is she has tons of dance experience from Glee. Like, she knows what she's doing at this point. But she's saying that at Dancing with the Stars, she's been able to push her limits even more. And Derek keeps her from getting negative. And when I get to that place, he's good at redirecting me. Even in my everyday life, I can learn from that. So I think that it's really exciting to see. We talked about it a little bit last season, that the older Glee characters are starting to venture out and do different projects, and this is a big one for her. So I'm really excited to see how she does this season.
And she's so lucky to be paired with Derek, because he's just like the most incredible dude of all time.
And
we
he
love
just
him here.
won an Emmy.
Such a nice guy.
And he won an Emmy.
For
we
choreography.
should totally,
so that was crazy.
Totally mention
Amber,
that,
you're in good hands.
Yes, absolutely. I think she even mentioned how great it was that he was there doing it. And he seems like such a good guy to her as well. Like when you watch their packages together, they have a good working relationship.
Definitely.
So predictions?
Okay.
Yes.
I got one.
Good.
It could be
your AFTERBUZZ TV.
so far off.
Okay. Let's go for it.
I think that when they were doing the dance with Santana and Rachel, I think that the directors are gonna somehow notice Santana, and there's gonna cause some sort of a rift between Santana and Rachel, or maybe they both get some good thing, something out of it. But I just think, how do you not notice Santana?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's hard to miss.
She just kills it. But I haven't heard anything about that. I could be so wrong, just throwing it out there.
I'm going to go with another not-so-happy prediction and say that as much as I think Blaine and Kurt will end up together in the end, I don't think this is going to be a straightforward, happy engagement. I think he's going to move to New York, and work and life are going to get in the way. They're so young, and Blaine is so in love with him, but he's going to have to figure out a way of balancing it all, and he has had trouble with that in the past.
Yeah, and I was to go off of that. I think not just that relationship, but all these new budding relationships, they're all going to hit some rocky ground at some point in time throughout the whole season. And I think this new girl, Bree, she's going to, really stir the pot.
To say the least, there's trouble ahead on all fronts.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Which is exciting. We love trouble.
Yes, and you know what else we love? Having guests in our studio. And next week we have Erin, of course. Erin Westbrook, who will be talking about all of her new role as the mean Cheerio, as we like to say. Bree. So super fun. And I guess come hang out with us. We'll be here all season. And I'm Stephanie Wenger, and you can tweet me at Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV. And don't forget to check out our Corey Monteith tribute.
Absolutely. And you can follow me at Roxy Striar.
And Sarah will be back next week, too. So thanks again for watching.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AFTERBUZZ TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AFTERBUZZTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.